in domestic violence, the role of child protection agencies in domestic violence. Well, in this broadcast, we'll be exploring issues around domestic violence and the involvement of child protection agencies. Quite often, and for people without the experience, it is not clear when and how child protection agencies become involved in domestic abuse cases in the family because of the children in the home. Our guests today are Jet Ellens and Heidi Hessen, and then a third lady joined. I'm going to ask her to do. I just forgot it if she told me earlier. I would like to say, ladies, please say hello to our listeners.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. I would give you the honor of telling our listeners who you are. Mention your names and tell them who you are. So what you do.
Good morning. I'm Jet Ellens. I'm a coordinator in a center for younger children and their families. It's called MOC Kabouterhuis. It's in Amsterdam Zuidoost.
Okay.
Hello, I'm Karen Schulting and I work also at the MOC as a psychologist.
Okay.
Good morning, I'm Heidi Hessing and I'm also working in the Kabouterhuis and I'm a team coach in the organization.
Your voice is a bit low. Let's see. Come again.
Shall I introduce myself again?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I think that's a bit weak. So.
Okay, I'm Heidi Hessing and I'm
Yes,
also
right.
working in the Kabouterhuis as a team coach in the organization.
Okay. Well, welcome, ladies and listeners. As you know, you're welcome to give us a call on studio line 0207371619 if you have a remark or a question for our guests. Now, I would like to find out, ladies, what exactly does your organization, MOC, at Kabouterhuis, Zuidoost, what do you do, and who are your clients?
It's a center for parents and children from 0 to 8 years old.
Yeah.
And in the center we give treatment to children with developmental delay or developmental like autism or ADHD. And we have groups for children. They learn in a smaller group to be in a group, to listen to the teacher, to express themselves, to learn to speak well, learn to play well. Sometimes they have difficulty expressing themselves or to play together, and we help them in smaller groups.
Yes.
And also we help parents with the raising of their children when they have a child with difficulties or when they find raising children difficult. That's the link, I think. We also help parents at home.
Yes.
And they have experienced various problems with raising or in growing up themselves, or so. And we also have a specialized team of various disciplines, like a psychologist, and a speech therapist, physiotherapist, child physician. So we can do research for the children's psychiatrist.
Wow, awesome. So complete,
Treatment
put together team.
Yeah.
Okay. And you handle children between 0 and 8. Okay, interesting.
Parents of the children between 0 and 8. In the groups I told you about, those are children from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this, but the children from 0, they stay at home, of course.
Okay, what does the abbreviation MOC mean?
It's called Medisch Orthopedagogisch Centrum.
Oh, yeah.
And the M is for medical, and orthopedagogisch is the real Dutch term. It's about raising children with special needs, but not with a physical or a mental handicap, developmental delays.
Sorry. Awesome, awesome. Interesting. Okay, then our children have people, skills to take care of them. Well, so what what are the activities of the youth zone in the context of raising children in the land? Because we were looking at child care, a youth zone in Dutch, as you say. And so we're looking at the activities, and I suppose that your organization is related, taking care of children. Okay, so basically, what are your activities? I think you kind of mentioned some of them in the context of raising children. If you can go over that again, so our listeners can really understand the services you have to offer them as far as helping children in their development is concerned.
You mean what we offer the children at the centrum and at home?
Yeah, yes. In the context of child care or child development, okay, just tell us in a nutshell activities you are giving to, or which your organization provides, generally speaking, for children's development.
As yet told, we help the children and their parents, especially to express themselves. Children who are coming to the MOC, sometimes they are very anxious, or sometimes they are very expressive in their behaviors, sometimes a little bit aggressive, because maybe there are problems at home, maybe the child has a development disorder. We don't know what's the problem, and then we do some research by a psychologist, a psychiatrist, and we offer them the treatment and also education. It's not only treatment in the group by learning how to play or learning how to express their emotions. We also offer education. And we think it's very important to work together with the parents, and we want to guarantee the safety of the children and of course the safety of the parents. We have to work together, because a child with problems needs their parents, and we are coming at home, and the parents also come at the centrum, and we talk together. We have some racing programs like Triple P. It's an evidence-based program. We have een zinsbegeleidster, een family counselor. Our team is specialized in talking and working with the parents and the children. And an answer what you could.
Yeah, it is. That's good. That's very good. Now, you spoke about developmental delays in children.
Yeah.
What would you say is a cause of this sort of problem, or can be the cause of this sort of problem in children?
Can be. There are several reasons why a child has a development delay. For example, maybe it has problems with coping in social context, because it doesn't know how to play with other children, and children needs to, they need each other to play, to develop their skills, and some children has difficulties because they have problems with learning, because their intelligence are below average. Maybe there are problems at home, maybe there are problems at school why a child has emotional problems, and for that reason he or she reacted anxious or aggressive. Maybe there is a development disorder like an autistic spectrum stoornis, or a problem with attention, to keep focused. Yeah, there are several reasons.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, our discussion actually is a bit tilted, or is expected to. We want to tilt it towards domestic violence. Let's say its impact on development of children, for example. So we'd like you to, if possible, shed some more light on that. Now, to what extent would you say domestic violence in the home or unrest in the home can hinder the child's development properly?
Yes, that's a good one.
Yes, any of you can take it.
Yeah. Well, domestic violence doesn't start like that. It's often like a pattern that parents became in. Mostly it's multifactored. Sometimes parents have stress about their work or about financial situation, or they have psychological problems. So that gives a lot of stress.
Yes.
And sometimes they find it hard because of that stress about their own personality or a personal situation, that they are getting angry about each other, and the stress is so big that that aggression exists. And then you see with the child, sometimes when a child is born, always when a child is born, it's also crying. And if you are not okay feeling with yourself and the baby is crying, or if the child is difficult for you, or you think, well, this is not a child I was expecting, or it was born in a difficult situation, then the stress gets higher, and it's like that. It's a circle of violence can exist.
Yes.
So there's never one factor, but it's always like a combination of things. And when you see there are child factors, there are parent factors, so it involves each other, and that's why it's also important that when you help a system like the family, you treat the different factors, the different elements of the violence.
Yes.
You have to help the parents by maybe they need therapy or treatment or help with the finances or with the living situation, like it's a very small room or very small house they're living in. You have to help that, and you help the child to become a pleasant child, and the mother you have to support. So you have to treat the whole system.
I like the way you put it, that
Wow,
you look at the
good.
whole system, not just focus on one aspect of it, which is very, very important. Now, can you sketch out for our listeners a situation wherein you have had to deal with a family, maybe in having, let's say, domestic violence as a part of the problem, and that having some impact on the development of the child? Are you able to sketch that out for us and bring that out clearly?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I remember a family where there were 3 boys, and the parents were good parents from themselves, but they had experienced lots of traumas when they came to Holland. The mother wasn't legal, so she was very terrified that she had to go back to her own country. The father was very busy working for the money for the whole family, but also he had physical problems. So the stress was very high, and the boys were feisty boys, good temperament like that. But they were asking a lot of questions. They were asking a lot of energy from the parents,
Yes.
and sometimes they didn't have that energy.
How old were the boys?
Well, they were like 2 and 4 and 6 or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very young.
Yeah, very young. So the oldest boy was with us, and then he left to a special school, and the second was with us.
Yes.
And it was a great boy, but he had a lot of special needs. And the parents were willing to change, and they accepted help in the family, and they were doing their best, and they even they learned skills they didn't have or didn't. At first they thought they were a bit strange. Like in Holland, it's very important that you play with your child. Well, that's if you're a big man and you're a proud man and you have to work, then well, you have to take time to play at the floor, and well, they were able, and he was willing to do that. but it didn't change immediately. The boys, they stayed feisty, so it took a long time. And when the stress was high, and when the physical problems were bigger, and there were things in a bigger family, then yeah, there was violence. And
so the violence, so the man and the woman had
yeah, also
violence
the
and
violence
a bit.
to the children. Also the violence to the children.
Wow. Oh.
Yeah, they were when they were angry, they were harsh on the children.
Okay.
So they had severe punishment.
Really?
And not punishment you can do at hitting or slapping or becoming angry, but also you see in violence there's also like an emotional aspect.
Yes.
You get very angry, or you make the children scared. So it's always also different elements of anxiety.
I see. So they took, they came in for treatment, and
Yes.
you began to help them, and
Yeah.
so how did things go after that?
Well, it's still a complex situation, but when they see it's needed, then they came back again because the problem reoccurred, and they asked for help, and I think that was a very positive step. Exactly. They saw, well, we want to do it alone, but when we really aren't able to do that, then we come back and we get help. And so I think that's a very important step to open the doors when it's really needed. So because you don't have to do it alone, you're not alone, there is help, and we as treaters, we as hulpverleners, carers, we have to respect also the pride and the culture of the people themselves. We can't go and say, well, you have to do it like this or that or that, and you're so bad. We have to listen to each other and listen what is needed, and focus on the positive sides of the parents, and that we can support.
Yeah. And all the parents want the best for their
Yes,
child.
exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's the primary.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What really struck me was we're speaking was the fact that, okay, so you're talking about a migrant family
Yes.
having to deal with the stress of living in a new society, adjusting, and at the same time trying to raise up their kids, and coupled with the pressures which came up all together, and have to deal with all of this was quite tough for them. And then you had to come in to help them in a way to manage the whole thing, which is very, very nice. How often, or how often do you deal with people of a migrant background, to deal with these kind of situations?
I think.
And you have a lot of migrant clients. That's what
Yes,
I'm
we have.
saying.
Yeah. It's not the case. Domestic violence is in every culture, so I don't want to say that it's in migrant families.
No, I know.
Okay.
I know it's
Just
everywhere.
universal.
That's what I want to make clear.
Yeah.
But we work with migrant families a lot. In Zuidoost, there are lots of migrant families, and it was sometimes hard for them to know. It is sometimes hard for them to know which centers there are, why to use special help. But we try to be very open and transparent to what we do, and listen to what the needs of the parents are. And the first step is the biggest step for the parents to accept that their child is having problems, and it's not going to a regular school, or it's not going easy. You have to open up your house, and we ask lots of questions. So
Yes.
it seems like we're very curious.
Yes.
We always explain why we're asking the
All those
questions we ask.
yes.
But everyone wants to do the raising alone, or with your own family, or in your own culture. So that's it's a journey.
And we also want to let the people know that it's very normal that you have problems while raising the children, because it's a difficult task.
Yes.
I think every parent will recognize that.
Okay.
Well, and that's so, I said it before, so important that we work together with the parents, and we build a relation with the parent.
Mm-hmm.
We also talking with the parent, but also with sometimes when it's possible with the family, because when it's possible that an aunt or uncle can help, that would be very nice, and then they can to do it together, their own family.
Yes.
Wow, that's good.
Okay, well, listeners, we're hosting right now two gorgeous ladies from three gorgeous ladies from Kabouterhuis. This is an institution specialized in helping, beg your pardon, helping with the development, correction of developmental delays in children. They work with children, they help them so they can function normally, play normally, learn normally, and things like that. And so that is their job. And we're having this discussion. And also, in case you have a question or remark, you're welcome to call in to give us your questions, and they'll be glad to answer those questions. Okay. Now, we're actually. So, are you in any way related to, let's say, child protection agencies? Are you working with them, or you only basically dealing with the medical issue, the treatment of children?
No, we are related in the way that Bureau Jeugdzorg is sometimes a referrer to our help.
Okay.
And as all institutions or centers in Amsterdam, normal childcare or special childcare, we have the obligation to see how the families are going and to focus on the safety of children.
Yes.
And that's we always call it like attention for safety, because every parent wants safety for their children, emotional safety and physical safety.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's not possible, and sometimes parents are insecure about their raising or their capacities. So then we help, and when there is violence and we have worries about the security of children or the safety of children, we have to talk with the parents, and sometimes we give a referral to institutions that want they will protect the child. Yeah, there are like in Amsterdam there's the Bureau Jeugdzorg, and there's AMK. It's advies- en meldpunt kindermishandeling. And sometimes research is needed from the Raad van de Kinderbescherming, the Child Protection Service. So yeah, we have that kind of line with them, link with them. They don't order our help, but we often see parents who have experienced nasty situations and children who have experienced violence, and so that's the link.
Wow.
Okay. Now coming from a migrant background, and getting to know a bit about how the system works here, and listening to other people and the concerns they have with dealing with agencies like yours, or with even child protection agencies. People are a bit skeptical.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And because of the stories they have heard, or rumors and things perhaps which are unfounded. So it's important to use this medium to clear up those things. Yeah. So to establish clearly the services you are offering and how you are donating for the betterment of the children and for the entire family. That said, some people have become worried and concerned about losing their children to organizations, to the government, or to the child protection agencies. So I need you to shed some light on this. It is true that the stress and the pressure which comes with having to live in a foreign country and to build up a family, it can be enormous, and so people end up in situations they didn't expect to be in, having quarrels, fighting, and this having effect on the children. So how do we balance all of this? The Child Protection Agency also is interested in the welfare of the child, the normal development of the child, and like your organization is. and I believe the parents also, but sometimes the child protection agencies are compelled to step in in order to protect the child. Can you tell us a bit about this, your perspective on what I've just said?
Well, the aim of the child protection agency is the welfare of the child, and sometimes it's violated, the welfare of the child in a violent situation, but it's not, then sometimes there's help needed outside the home, but the aim is always to reunite parents and children.
Okay.
And sometimes it takes like 3 months or a year, but they see each other often. There's always visiting arrangements, there's always attention for the parents. As I said, why did the violence happen? Why was the insecurity? So the focus stays on the parents and the child in their best interest, and almost always there is also help for the parents and the child together, because it's not in the interest of a child to be ripped apart from the parents and never see them again.
So what you're saying is that you do not rip children away from their parents.
Yeah.
That is never your intention.
No, and it's not the case when there is violence. There are conversations with the parents. You want to listen to them. You want to speak with them. What has happened? How can I help you? Is it possible for you to change it immediately? To change it right now? How can we support you with that? So it never happens that there's sunshine and tomorrow there's thunder and the children, the police is there and they take it away. It's never the case, because that's not in the best interest of the child, and we think that parents are able to change when they're willing to change. So that's the focus, and when they find it so hard right now to change it immediately, if they say themselves, we can't secure the, we can't guarantee the security right now, then you have to help. But the focus is always to come together again, and sometimes it takes a bit while. Some like there's foster care, but it's also for a short time sometimes, or so it's never. Yeah, I understand everybody is afraid for for child protection, but it's we all want that the child is protected. And the parents also wanted to protect the child,
So are you saying that's an extreme case? In an extreme case, then...
very extreme.
Very extreme.
Okay, I think... Alright, no problem, go ahead. Wow. There was a case of somebody actually who was on our program, and I think it's a well-documented case, who was denied access to seeing his children, 2 or 3 girls, for 10 years.
Yes,
and he
10
suffered
years.
terribly. He's been complaining about it, and they made decisions against him, and there really wasn't any solid basis for that. He fought and fought and fought. He was denied, and he has grown up with that bitterness in his heart that he was denied. Seeing his daughters for all these years. And this is a Dutchman who's speaking. I mean, not even a migrant person. So we felt deeply about it. So we felt something must be wrong, maybe, with the system, the way the system works, And people hear stories like this, and they are concerned. They say, "Wow, I can't trust this." These organizations, they're going to take my kids away from me. So even when things are not going well at home, they rather keep it all inside and not seek help, because they don't know how far it's going to go.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you deal with and address this kind of concerns people have?
Yeah. Well, we always try to be very open what we do and tell what we do. Always we always talk with the parents what kind of concerns there are or we see, and we're looking for the possibilities of the parents, how to work together, and there are always situations like the person you tell, they experience, it's hard, and I can't explain why a father doesn't see his 3 daughters. I don't know the case, but it's very important always to explain your intentions and to explain your decisions. And well, it's in everything it's possible that you have two different opinions.
Yes.
But you have to listen to it, stay listening to each other.
Especially in the first contact you have as parents, it's
Yes.
so important to explain what we as at MOC are doing and what are the expectations of the parents, because sometimes our opinions is different. Parents want something else because they want the child do his best on school, he learns very well, and our intention is to help the parents and the child to live together, and they are happy, and sometimes you have to focus first on the treatment. The children can play and express, and then he is ready to learn, because child cannot learn, he cannot function normal when he or she has problems. So the contact with parents is for us is very important, that we understand each other, that we all have the best, we want the best for the child, the parents and we, and it's important to discuss that.
And we
Otherwise you can't work together.
And we recognize your story. A lot of parents, when we have the first contact with the parents, they are very afraid to come, and they are afraid that their child will take away. But when they are with us and we have a conversation and they see what the group is like and where the children are playing, then they get a really different side on it.
The whole thing.
Yes, yes.
So are the children, when you begin to handle the children, is it that the children, it's like they come to you, like they come to school in your place, and then they go back home?
Yes.
Yeah,
or they stay with you
they go,
the whole time?
They go home.
They go home?
Day treatment.
Oh, okay, day
From
treatment.
9 till 3:30.
Something like that. Okay, it's like regular school for them.
Yeah, the parents bring the children and they pick them up.
All right. So how long does this last for the correction to take place in the life of the child?
Well, it's different, but it's
an average.
Yeah, it's 6 to 12 months in average, and well, it's you call it a correction. Sometimes it's a correction, but some things are also acceptance. Sometimes there are children who learn slower, or who stay feisty persons, or stay shy persons. So then we give the parents the skills and the tools to handle them. We give an advice for what help or education is possible and advisable in the future. So some things aren't correctable, but we try to give the parents and ourselves a bigger range of thinking about the children.
Yes.
You see, well, that's in violence, but always in raising your children you have an expectation of your child, and sometimes it's different than you expected, and you have to adjust your own thoughts about the child and the thoughts about your education and your growing up. And we help with with the research. We help expand the knowledge about the child. But the treatment is like 6 to 12 months.
Wow, wonderful. We'll take a short break here, and then we'll continue the discussion. Okay, let's see, what are we? All right. Well, listeners, we welcome you to give us a call on the studio line 020-737-1619 if you have a question or remark for our guest this morning. We'll be taking a short break, but in the break, we encourage you to give us a call anyway. We'll be here. See you soon. How well they take care of our children, and how they help those who have developmental problems and defects, how they help to correct this. And our focus actually It's on the domestic violence aspect, and they're telling us how to deal with things like this. And so I would like to welcome the ladies back. Welcome back, Jed, Carol, and AD. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. One question I'd like to ask before we head towards the finish line is what do you think will make a parent turn to your organization, or what do you think parents should be looking out for in their children, which should make them consider coming to you for help? You can mention some of the traits, the characteristics which parents, if they do notice in their children, then they should consider coming for help.
Well, we treat hundreds of children every year. There are more Kabouterhuis in Amsterdam. In Amsterdam Zuidoost, we have like I think 80 children every year. Inside the groups, or we also help parents with children at daycare centers or peuterspeelzalen. And mostly the signs when a child is not doing well are at the peuterspeelzaal, the voorschool, or the child daycare center when they're small, like between 2 and 3. Regular children, they develop their social skills, they develop their talking skills, they know what is angry and what is happy and what is sad. So, and they look at the other children and they learn from the teacher how you're doing, and you have to learn how to play for yourself and to play together. And the first signs are mostly between 2 and 3 years old. And so it's important that you listen to the teacher as a parent how your child is doing. If a child is not developing, or is very silent, or is always with playing in itself, or they have a lot of social problems, like when you're hitting another child, or when you're getting angry if someone takes off your own toy, and it keeps occurring. When the teacher says, well, it's not doing so fine, that would be a good moment to listen what would be a good solution. And sometimes the teacher needs some extra help from a specialized teacher, how the child is doing. Sometimes an observation, we are able to do an observation in the daycare center, because sometimes the group is very busy, noisy, or distracting the child from the learning. And sometimes research is necessary, and sometimes when it's really not possible to learn in a group with 15 children or with 30 children in a regular school, that's a sign to ask for help. And we have a variety of possibilities in helping, and so we listen to that, to the possibilities, and we look for the best solution.
Together with parents.
Together with parents, exactly. But well, often another adult is telling you about what is opvallend for your child. I don't know the word for opvallend.
What is necessary?
It is not only the problems at school, the moment for the parent is also that the parent sees that a child has problems at home. When a child is not functioning at school or has problems in social context, and maybe at home there's it's quiet, there is no violence, but a child feels safe at home, and it will react his frustration from his school experience at home. So that's the moment also for parents to seek help and to ask, what's the problem? How can I help my child? And we can do research and observation, and before a child is coming to the centrum. We also offer help outside the centrum.
Okay. You mean We visit the family at home?
Yeah, it's possible. Or at school, and we do some research, psychologist investigation, or speak language investigation with the parents before. And maybe sometimes it's not necessary that the child comes to the centrum for day treatment. We can also do some treatment at home and at school.
At the school, the children, then the child can stay in their own school, and we just offer help when it's needed.
Wow. Awesome. Well, let me take the news and then we'll briefly continue to finish up. Is that okay?
Okay.
All right. So far. Now we'll be getting to run to the finish line. So I want to welcome back our ladies. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now the last question I want you to answer is, and that's you can use to actually stress or to emphasize what you do. To what extent do you safeguard the family bond whenever you have to intervene or deal with a case of child development? How do you safeguard the family bonding so that it's not destroyed but it's protected? Can you please shed some light on that?
Well, when we help families with the children, the main focus is always what's going right and is positive in the relation between the parent and the child. So we emphasize on the things that are going well.
Yes.
Sometimes we do it by talking, sometimes we do it by video, and the video is a very expressive medium, very good medium to express what is going right. And sometimes we film the interaction between the parent and the child, and you see the way the child is looking. You can experience, or you can think that the child is always being angry at you, but when you see a still with a very happy child and looking at you and being amazed at you, or being very glad with you, that's a very strong medium. So we emphasize on the good things, and we extend the moments that are going well. We ask at the parents, what moment would you like to be better? Sometimes with every child, eating situation is sometimes a bit hard. You have to be quick, and you want them to eat healthy, and you want to enjoy a meal. You want them to enjoy the meal that you cooked for. So sometimes eating moments are emphasized, sometimes going to bed or hurrying in the morning. So we ask the parents, what moment would you like to improve? And with improving the good moments, the bond is getting better. And if the relation is difficult, we look at, well, who can be a supporter in your family? Can your mother help, or can the grandfather help, or the uncle or the sister? So we're looking in the network of parents who can help you, or who can buy the groceries sometimes, or who can bring the child to the center. So we look at their own strength in the family to expand that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to add anything to that, Carol?
No, we also asked the parents, give yourself a mark, from 1 till 10. And maybe some parents say, 6. And then we ask the parents, what can we do, what can you do to raise that mark? So,
yes.
How could it getting a 7 or an 8? Or why, when they give themselves a 6, why isn't it 5 or 4? So the parents need to think about their own raising capacities, because why isn't it less or why isn't it more? And so we try to give the parents sight on their own capacities and what's going well, and yeah, what do I have to improve? Yeah.
Heidi, you wanna give a final word on, and then
Well, I think a lot has been said, but I think the most important thing is that every parent wants to do the best, and they do the best they can, and it's very normal that you sometimes have problems, or you don't know how to deal with difficult things, and it's also normal to ask for help, and you can do that in your own system with family and friends, but sometimes specialized help is needed. And we focus on the things that are going right and are good, and we extend that. And we can say that a lot of parents who came to us are happy at the end. So that's important. And we cannot solve everything, of course not. It's not. Not everything is being cured, but we can help to deal.
You can do something
we
good.
can help to deal with some
One very important question I forgot to ask from the very beginning is how do your services get paid for?
It's from the government and now from the gemeente, but also from the health insurance.
Okay, it's a
so,
part of it.
yeah.
I see. Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, I want to say a big thank you for coming to the program, and I think you have really enlightened us, and I hope our listeners enjoyed it as well. Hopefully, we'll get you back sometime soon.
Yeah,
Will do.
exactly.
Have a
We enjoyed
wonderful
it.
day.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.